So, what is martial arts? Martial means of or related to war. Art is any fixed medium through which we express ourselves. A painter paints, sculptor sculpts, etc. The commonly accepted definition of martial arts is a way of life. It is a systematic and or scientific method of combat, utilizing anything and everything and excluding nothing. There are many different types of martial arts. In terms of genre, there's what's known as theatrical martial arts. That is your Jackie Chan's, your Jet Li's, Jason Statham's, the gentlemen that do movies for entertainment purposes. Their fighting styles look great on a movie screen, but it's clearly not practical for a real street fight. Everything is not the Matrix. Then there is what is known as exercise martial arts, I guess you might call it. That's your Taibos, where you go in, it's more of an aerobics theme, your executive kickboxing courses. A lot of people think they're learning martial arts, but in fact you are not, because you don't learn proper hand and foot formation for delivering the strikes, because you don't condition your knuckles, because you do not condition your shins and your feet. You don't get used to the impact of striking an actual human being. You don't get used to defending yourself or taking and receiving blows, because all you're doing is moving against the resistance of air. Nothing like combat. Hitting someone and being hit by a human being that is trained or aggressive or on drugs is not the same as punching and kicking air to some music. Then there's sport martial arts. This is the most common form of martial arts here in the United States. When you look at sport martial arts, you're looking at 90% of your commercial schools. You go in, you pay money, you get a uniform, they encourage you to go to point fighting tournaments where you're not allowed to actually hit the person, you just touch them, you get a point. And it's part of a business. This is what's called commercial martial arts. It's a business. The business says, I put the trophy in the window. You see the trophy in the window and go, oh, this must be a really good school because they breed champions. And you put yourself or your child in the program. They begin to go through the process of learning how to participate in this sport. They go to tournaments and they are successful. Now, why are they successful? Simple, because the person that is bringing the most students to the tournament is friends with the promoter. The promoter gives them a kickback. They say, okay, well, since you brought 50 students and each student paid $50 or $60 to come to my tournament, I'll give you $10 back per student. These are backdoor deals. I've had the offers given to me by several different people. I will not name names. I've turned them down every time. I don't want your money. Give my students a lower price. I'm not here to rip off my students. We don't teach commercially. So you go to a tournament. Because your school brought 50, 100 students, you win the grand championships. They take the grand champion trophy, they put it in the window. More students come in, they take more students to this tournament. Each person is paying $60 per person, plus the friends and family members who want to come as spectators for $10, $15 per spectator. Plus, then they want to get on the floor and videotape, and now they charge you $10 to put a sticker on your camera and say, we have a right to videotape. So if you add that all up, every single person walking through that door to compete is worth about $150 to them. That doesn't include vendors who have the snacks and water and the Gatorade there. So you're talking about in the extra equipment. So you're talking about $150 per person. So if my school brings 100 students and each student is worth about $150, do the math. That's $15,000 per tournament that I'm taking your students to. And so because I do that, the promoter's not going to have my students lose, so that I say, well, I'm not coming back to this tournament. You know, you made me lose. And they lose out on that 15 grand. And if the students are hitting 2, 3 of those tournaments a year, it's $45,000 for 3 tournaments. Simple math. So from the business perspective, when you go to these sport karate tournaments here in America, you're going to always notice people walk away. Oh, they're cheating. Well, how did this guy win? Well, why are they calling this? Well, that's not fair. It's a business. Business says he who has the gold makes the rules. There you go. What I teach, it's called combat martial arts. When you hear about every martial artist claims to train Navy SEALs, everybody trains the FBI, everybody was a former special forces in the military and they know the secret death touch technique, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. That's the bottom line what it is. It's the truth. You're not a ninja, you're not special forces, you are a liar. trying to run a business. I teach combat martial arts. That means we emphasize the things that will be 100% illegal in a tournament. I will take my finger and poke you in the eye. You cannot do that in a tournament. You do not see that when you watch your Jackie Chan and Jet Li movies. I do teach it. It is part of the forms. You look at Tiger Style, they do have finger pokes. You look at Snake Style, they have finger pokes to the eyes. Mantis, finger pokes to the eye. You look at arm breaks, something real simple, real basic. People believe UFC is the ultimate fighting people, and there's nothing wrong with that. In terms of sport, they're probably about the toughest guys that are out there right now, but that has nothing to do with combat. Don't tell me about a no-holds-barred sport. There's no such thing. UFC has always had rules. Even UFC, the very first competition, had 50 different rules that were displayed on their website for those who chose to do the research. The fighters are hand-picked. You have to send in a 5-minute video. They watch the video and decide whether or not you're the type of person they want fighting in their competition. Because again, the fighters are hand-picked. It's all setups because it's for the purpose of entertaining the crowd. What will give us the biggest bang for our buck? They take a guy, they let him dominate lesser trained opponents, people who are not in very good shape. He gets this reputation like a Kimbo Slice or other people as being this tough guy, and then they bring in a monster to crush him. They win a bunch of money on the back end with bets. Ratings go through the roof. We've already seen this happen with several previous champions. It's a common formula used in boxing, basketball, football. It is a sport. All of that said, my entire point is what I teach is combat martial arts. People like martial arts because there's an entertainment value, it's violent, it's this, it's that, but the training in combat, traditional styles, it's very different. If you go to Indonesia, they don't have a belt system. Samurai didn't have a belt system. You look at the ninja, the real ninja, not these guys over here now with, you know, not going to name any names, but you know who I mean. There was no belt system. When you're a warrior, your job is to fight. You're a soldier. You're a warrior. You go out there, you fight. You don't get a belt. So, 4 different types of martial arts. What is martial arts is basically the title of this video. First of all, martial arts is a way of life. It is a systematic and or scientific method of combat, including anything and everything, excluding nothing. When we say including everything, we look at 4 genres of martial arts. We look at the exercise version, very good for internal health and healing, everything from Tai Chi Chuan to your Taibo. Executive kickboxing. Then we look at our theatrical martial arts, entertainment aspect, whether it's live stunts or it's done in the movies or it's done in a television show. Entertaining, high level of athleticism, personal opinion, wushu practitioners are the masters of this. Then you look at commercial or sport martial art, which is it's a business. Recognize what you're buying. You spending that $100 and something a month, you're going to those tournaments and you're hoping little Billy will get into the movies, just so you understand, very slim chance. Sport and movies are different. If you want your child to learn martial arts to get into acting, give them acting lessons first. They will hire people to teach them martial arts later on. And then finally, you want to look at combat martial arts, which is specifically what we teach. If your butt is on the line, life or death situation, then combat martial arts is the only thing you can really rely on. Some people have managed to use sport and make it work for them in the street. No arguments here. But is that the most effective way? Not at all. Is it the most deadly way? Not even close, because killing is not allowed in sport. So the practice of killing techniques is not done as part of an aspect of sport training. As a result, they're not good at it. So we do combat martial arts, and that's what I do. That's what I enjoy. That's what I teach. And even though our program is volunteer, that's why very few people are selected to join it. So if you ask me what martial arts is, that's my complete and thorough answer.